Hey, welcome to BetaThings. Today we're going to be talking about how I made this custom embossed business card. Love that song. Okay, so about a week ago, I was talking to a friend of mine and he was saying it would be really cool if we could stamp business cards and give them out to people in the field. I took it one step further and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could make custom embossed business cards on the go? And so I just wanted to take a few minutes and tell you guys how I got to where I am with my successful results. Um, so let's go to the table. Okay, so this is the sort of chronological progression. My testing tends to be a bit destructive, so some of these pieces are a bit broken until we get to the final end product. I'll take a look at one of these rollers here. So I used my CAD program to emboss this text and logo onto a cylinder, and then debossed it on the other roller, and then we connect them with a gear set. Problem with this first one was the gears only meshed on the top. There's no gears on the bottom, and it sort of relied on the frame of the unit to keep the bottom plates more or less aligned and keeping them from sort of coming off of each other. Found that the bottom text tended to fade out and not get embossed properly. So putting that aside, moved on to the next version using gears top and bottom. Still put a lot of stress on the frame and still had the potential to come off of each other and not be properly lined up. The gears kept the rotation in sync, but I was pretty much counting on the embossment, debossment catch sort of thing to keep them laterally aligned with each other. So it didn't produce the best results and moved on from that. Version 3 is where we really started to kick into gear. I used herringbone gears, top and bottom. Good thing about a herringbone gear is it allows you to keep both gears completely aligned with each other. You can see how it's sort of like a hook, and so that keeps these two rollers from going up and down on each other and keeps the plates perfectly in synchro mesh. Problem with this one, I just used screws. So there was a fair bit of friction, but we were getting really good embossments out of it. Still tweaking the depth of the embossment at this phase. And then moving on, I'll go back to the table here. Final version. It's a really solid unit, kind of weighty, feels good in your hands, fits in your pocket. Uses 4 608 bearings, it's common skateboard bearings. Again with the herringbone gears. Quick note, side note on this one, when you're printing gears on the bed surface with an FDM printer, there's a big potential to start a warp or a curl. I don't know if you can see in this one, just trying to focus. But basically, yeah, when you create those little tiny islands that make, or peninsulas that make up the gears on the bed surface, there's a big possibility that at least one of them is going to start curling, and it'll take the rest of them with it. And what happens to the gear is it deforms and it won't mesh properly. So what I like to do with a lot of my gears, when I print them on a surface, one of these I did it right, and the other one I changed it. Where can I show you? This one's better. But yeah, you just sort of bevel it so that it comes down to a circle. Best to print sort of large solid shapes on the bed, and so it just tapers up into the gear here. So yeah, we got a nice smooth running unit now with the bearings, keeps everything in line and really solid. Let's go over to the screen. We'll take a closer look here. So this is my model for version 4. Start throwing out some objects here. You can take a look. We'll hide part 7. So these are the bearings, just little placeholders for the bearings. Hide. And you'll see I'm using these little screws here, and their heads actually just fit right inside the 608 bearing, but I wanted to make sure that they are centered inside the bearing itself. So I created these little spacer screw center things. Size of the inner diameter is such that you can slide the screw right through, and then of course in the roller itself it comes in a bit so that the screw will actually bite when you're screwing it in. So the overall effect is screw comes down, pinches the inner raceway of the bearing up against the spacer, and in turn up against the roller itself. So that happens on both sides, and yeah, it's really precise, and it gives the object a nice weight. I really like it. Yeah, again, the herringbone gears, I don't think I'll ever go back to using regular gears now that I know how easy it is to make a herringbone. And they work so great. Aside from the plate alignment issue that it helps with, it also uses, well, because of the contact, there's a lot less backlash. It's sort of constant mesh, constant, here, I'll show you the cutaway, maybe that'll help show it off a bit here. But, yeah, I can't really show it here, but yeah, for a longer sort of contact area, it keeps the gears from coming out of alignment in all directions. So yeah, I'm really happy with the herringbone gears. Definitely going to use them in future designs. Oh, another problem I ran into with one of my original ones, with this one, with number 3, was registering the card. When you put it in, if it's at all on an angle, it'll come out angled, and your text is going to be offset and angled on your card. And worst case, you could end up with some biting from the gears. You can see on this one, there's a little bit of biting on the edge. This is where the thing started to go a bit off kilter. So what I did with the new version here is I've created a little registration line. So when you're loading your card in, you just make sure that the edge is flat against here and that it's centered on the roller, and it should come out just fine. So let's do a quick little demo of final unit here. So I'm just using, these are standard, you can get them at Office, Max, Depot, whatever. They come in sheets, they're perforated. They're a bit thick for this process, and you get a bit of tearing sometimes. There are better business cards that work, and in fact, I've used a few of my friends' business cards, and if they're white on the back, you don't even need to carry these things around. You can just borrow someone's business card with white on the back, emboss your stuff on it, and give it back to them. I thought that'd be a really cool thing to do. So anyways, yeah, just register it against the line here, make sure it's centered, bite it, pull it through. And there's your business card. You get the lighting right. It's a lot easier to see in person. It's harder to get these on camera, but there you go. Your name here from BetaThings on Etsy.com. Just released today. I'll be taking orders for custom cards, so I can do these plates in any kind of form you like. Sticking to non-serif fonts and simple logos, but you can have your very own pocket scroll on Etsy.com. Look for BetaThings. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. So thanks for tuning in. See you next time on BetaThings.